Yeah, we also have a name for that. It's like Weiße Ring, the night. Because yeah, it's also important you have successfully skied your race, and afterwards you want to make a bit of a party. And our partner huts, they are doing like parties with live music, or they have a DJ.
From Eat, Drink, Fun, this is the Eat, Drink, Fun podcast. I'm Chris Miller. Hi, and welcome back. This episode is about one of my favorite events of all time, which is an amateur ski race that also offers guests incredible gastronomy, local beers, wines, spirits, and thumping parties in one of the most beautiful places you can imagine. It's called the White Ring Race, or Der Weiße Ring in German. To serve as our guide, I interviewed Andrea Ruckendorfer, who leads event management for the Lech-Zürs Tourism Board. Our conversation begins with the White Ring, but we also delve into a few other exceptional food and wine events that are held in Lech throughout the year. And without further ado, let's get to the interview with Andrea. Thank you again. I'm speaking today with Andrea Ruckendorfer, who is the head of entertainment for Lech-Zürs Tourism. Thank you very much. I want to begin by just asking, what is your job and what do you do with the tourism board, and what are your responsibilities?
So thank you for having me, Chris. I'm happy to talk to you today. My job is actually quite cool, but as you said, I'm the head of entertainment.
Yeah, sounds tough.
Sounds tough.
And when I'm sure it is a tough job, but it also sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. You organize a lot, you plan really cool events, you have cool partners, cool sponsors. We're planning like events from 15 people to like Weiße Ring, to up to 1,000 people, and every event for itself is like so much fun. We have no preference for smaller or bigger events, because each event is like something unique, and we love that.
I mean, the White Ring, of course, is the main sort of thing I wanted to talk about today, because that's an event that I myself and my friends now have participated in for several years. Sometimes it doesn't happen because we get too much snow. Sometimes it gets abbreviated because it can be tough in January and tricky. But this is a really huge event, right? You have over 1,000 skiers, and it's an amateur event. But it's well, I'll let you explain it. If you can kind of distill what is the Weiße Ring, what is the framework for how it works, and what do you expect if you're going to participate or be a racer?
As you said, Weiße Ring, the race is for amateurs, and we want to make it like a race for professionals. Because, you have to get the feeling like you are on World Cup races. There are helicopters. We are filming with drones. We're filming at the lifts. We are doing like professional timing. And in total, you are doing 22 kilometers and over 5,000 meters of vertical meters, and it's like super exhausting. I think if you do it in race mode, it's like super exhausting. There are others that take it a bit easier, but I think if you do it in race mode, you have to get your legs like really
and big. It is one of the things I love about it, because there are people who are obviously exceptional skiers. You have locals who are almost legends, I would say, who participate, but you also attract people from all over Austria, from all over Germany, and we're participating from the United States, so there are international people who come and participate, but it is for everybody. You don't have to be the best skier. It's mostly on intermediate trails, right? So if you have an intermediate or high intermediate ski level, you can do it. You can participate, right?
Yeah.
But you get a bib, as you say, a race bib. You get a number, it has a chip in it. You go through the gates and, they mark your time. So it's, I never raced as a skier. I love skiing. I've skied since I was about 4 years old, but this is the first time that I've actually got to wear a bib, and it is amazing. You have helicopters, like you said, and
you get in the mode, and that's what we want to do to get the racers experience something like a World Cup, because there are no races for hobby skiers like this. Some of them are like, they have like really short races, but we are like a long race. And it's cool. I think if you are like a hobby skier, you set your goal, okay, next year I'm going for the right ring, and then you are preparing yourself and you are training, and I think motivation is everything.
It is. I wish we had trained more, because as you mentioned, the exhausting part, when you begin the race, for context, you have to walk up a hill for about 20 meters. So about 50 feet, you're starting the race in walk mode, and you're just, some people, if they're on snowboard, they unclip and they run up the hill and put their snowboard on. But if you're a skier, it's a good enough hill that you can kind of skate up it, and you get to the top and you're absolutely wasted. And then you go into your tuck, and you're basically in a tuck for the next several hundred meters and racing, and it's so much fun. I know they've changed the format a little bit this year, in that we're going 2x2, as opposed to used to be every minute and a half there was a release of like 20 skiers.
But it's good, because then you're under pressure, because if you are just two, you just really go, and if you are in the group, you think, okay, this one is going before me, because maybe it will be too exhausting. But if you're two, you just have to beat.
It's true. I also have to imagine it's probably a little bit safer too, because sometimes people are stepping on someone else and stuff like that, because everyone's hustling to try to get up the hill and whatnot. But, it's interesting. So when I did this race years ago, I remember some people, they used to wear like the full ski suit, like the spandex and all that stuff. And I know they did change. Over the years, the race has evolved a bit, and they've changed some rules, because it is, at its heart, supposed to be an amateur race, right? Yeah. So to get people all in a full race uniform and everything like that, it can be maybe challenging. I don't know if...
Yeah, and as you said, we think that it's for hobby skiers and not for like professional skiers. And so we said, please wear like a normal skiing suit and not a race suit. And we have some regulations, how thick your jacket has to be. And I think it's a bit, you have to get down to earth, and it's about skiing, and it's not like a kind of material thing, because some people think that if they wax their skis in between, it would be better. And they are just kind of super motivated people, right. And the others which are a bit more down to earth.
But it's nice. I mean, I'll be honest with you. So we have some, very intermediate skiers on our team, and we have, some folks who've been skiing a very long time. So it's a nice mixture, men and women. So it's, this is a co-ed race. I know in the last few years, which is very nice, you've updated some lifts in the area, so that makes it like the going to the Madlock. So let me just orient the race. So you begin above Lech at the top of the Rufikopf, right, which is the mountain sort of on the southern eastern side of Lech. You ski
down to Schuttboden,
right? And then you take this tow bar up a little bit, which sometimes is not everyone's favorite, but you do it, and then you ski all the way down into Zürs, and then you go from Zürs all the way up and then across, and you ski the Madloch, and then you end up in Zug. And then from Zug, there's a new Bahn that goes up to Balmalp, and that's above Lech near the Kriegerhorn. And from there, it's a straight sort of blitz all the way back down into Lech. So in total, 27 kilometers?
22.
22, okay.
And over 5,000 vertical meters.
Yeah. So it takes the best, the waning skiers, about a little less than an hour, yeah? They finish in
a little less than in 1 hour, we have the first people here again, yeah.
And then sort of the last people, I mean, again, they're a mixture of ability levels, so maybe an hour and a half or something like that, and we're usually done with the
around it, yeah.
And so what's nice is now you stream it too. So I guess, you can look back and there's a great video that actually one of the cameramen was following my wife last year. So we have some great video. Yeah, I know. It was really fun. It was cool. I should begin at the beginning and say, what is the history? When did this start? When did this idea begin or form?
The White Ring idea itself, not from the race, but the White Ring as a round, because you can ski it like every day in our skiing resort, began like really early. So 1930 and something in the 1930s, they built like kind of the first lift in Austria. So it was like really, really the first one. And they started building more lifts. And in the 50s, they closed the White Ring, the whole track with the lifts they had. And then the idea came from Arlberg that they could celebrate the 50 years of Weiße Ring with a race. And then in 2005-06, it was the winter 5-6, they had the idea that we celebrate the Weiße Ring with a race. And that was the first time we did the race. And from there on, we did it every year. In the beginning, it was in December, and then we quickly moved to January because, it's better in January to have like all the snow here and the preparations. So we started in a celebration form, and we celebrate every year now.
Yeah. It's an annual pilgrimage. I mean, I love this thing. I come back every
also
year.
for our accommodations, it's like a fixed day, and they plan all year round the Weiße Ring, and also our ski huts. They just love it because it's always party. They see the racers. They are here beforehand because, as you said, you are coming from the United States, and we have like 24 nations coming here, and they just don't come for Saturday. They come for the whole week. They're training. And on Thursday, we have, in the past, we had the speed race, and now we have Remo's Team Challenge from our sponsor. And it's just so much fun. And you have the whole week as a Weiße Ring week.
Yeah, make a whole week out of it. Could you briefly explain the Remus, the Team Challenge, and what is that and what's the purpose?
So last year, it was the first year we did the Remus Team Challenge. It's a race at the Flexen Arena where we do the World Cup race in Zürs. We are doing a slalom, but a big slalom.
Giant slalom.
Yeah. GS with our racers. And at the Remus Team Challenge, as it says, they're just allowed to be teams. So our team members have the possibility to have a better starting place on Saturday, which is like really important because the earlier you start, the better your track is, the better skiers are around you, you have to say, because that's also something that is like really important, that you don't have someone in front of you who is like kind of slow or a bit like insecure.
It's a safety issue again. Yeah. So the fastest people get the chance to start like who starts at the front of the pack, and those people are usually gone. You never see them. They're just off and they're gone. But that makes a lot of sense. So it's true. It used to be a speed challenge, but it's a speed race. I know they used to do like a straight line speed, but you've now modified that to the GS.
Yeah, it's like a really big GS. So I think we have like kind of 4 or 5 gates where what you have to pass, but it's like a shorter track. Yeah,
that's great. You also mentioned the huts and the parties, and this is something that I think is so typically Austrian, and the reason why it distinguishes this place from other places, because you can go after the race and have a good time and party on the huts. Could you explain a little bit about that and what that program is about?
We also have a name for that. It's like Weiße Ring the night. Because it's also important you have successfully skied your race, and afterwards you want to make a bit of a party. And our partner huts, they are doing like parties with live music, or they have a DJ, and the teams always book beforehand their preferred hut, and they are just going there, and yeah, it's just so much fun. And yeah, you have all the possibilities. You can also start like at the very top in Balmalp, and then you go down to Schlegelkopf, and then you go down to Rutalp. And if you can, you just go into Schneckerei.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you can make like a kind of, yeah.
I'll put it bluntly, it's a nighttime ski tour, because by the time they shut down Balmalp, which is the top, it's often dark. And people bring torches, and you go with your group, and you ski in the dark with your torches down to the middle station, to Schlegelkopf. There's usually a DJ there, and the party goes on. And then from there, you can go down to right above the valley floor to Rudalpe and make another party. And then if you can get down to Schneckerei, it's there. So it's like this little safari that you can do. And, needless to say, this would be a very difficult thing to try to pull off in the United States, but it works incredibly well here, and it's so much fun.
It's also for our partners in the huts. They say it's like the best night because everyone is in good mood, and there are like really good skiers there, and for them it's also like something. Yeah, they like it a lot, and for them it's also a kind of a party.
Yeah. So actually, we'll transition a little bit now, and we have, that reminds me, we have 2 glasses of Grüne Veltliner in front of us.
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah, thank you. I asked Andrea what she preferred to drink, and of course you said as a good Austrian you're a fan of Grüne Veltliner, so...
I'm a Grüvi girl, it's like Grüvi is our shortcut for Grüne Veltliner.
Grüvi, yeah. It's delicious wine, I love it.
Hello, hungry and thirsty people. Are you headed to Europe soon? Well, if that's the case, I want to introduce you to an Eat, Drink, Fun service offering called Custom Adventures. Custom Adventures are perfect for small groups, for families, and for small corporate outings. We leverage our experience and personal knowledge to tailor each itinerary for you and your priorities, whether that's skiing in the best villages, eating at the best restaurants, going to the best vineyards, or experiencing the history here in Europe from a unique perspective. So go to eatdrinkfun.com, look up Custom Adventures, or email us at info@eatdrinkfun.com, and we look forward to working closely with you to design an itinerary that ensures that you have the best travel of your life, specifically with food and beverage in mind.
So let's maybe pivot and talk about the wine events, because this is something you said is a relatively recent event here, is a wine focus. Why don't you give us some background on that?
The event is called Arlberg Weinberg. It's translated like kind of Arlberg, like the mountain, and the vineyard is for us also kind of a mountain in the word. So it's like Arlberg Vineyard, and it's like a rhyme in German. So that's why we called it like this. And yeah, we are doing this event now in the 7th year, but we have transformed it a bit in the last 2 years. Our focus is clearly on culinary events, also on wine, and that also the winemakers are coming here to our region and stay in the hotels, in the restaurants, and that they do some kind of explanations for the guests. And this year, we have the first year where we had this expert focus, where we have like wine producers, but also like very known people from the wine world, like Jancis Robinson was here, and Nick Lander, and
wow.
Yeah, it was like amazing from our perspective. What's the press perspective?
Yeah.
And they were here, and we were doing a Blaufränkisch summit. Blaufränkisch is wine.
It's a red wine, a red grape. I think in Germany, often you see it as Lemberger, but they're the same grape. Yeah. And it's a delicious wine, kind of sour cherries and some red fruits, and in a warm vintage, it can be quite a powerful wine. 13.5%, 14%. Yeah. Delicious wine, great with game and some of the things that you eat here up in the mountains. So you did a Lemberger focus or a Blaufränkisch.
A Blaufränkisch summit, yeah. We had experts from winemakers and also Mrs. Robinson and everyone here, and they were talking about the grape varieties, also the regions where it comes from. It comes also a bit from Hungary, and yeah, they talked about how we can make it like more popular, because Blaufränkisch in Austria is often a bit underrated, let's say. But it's like a good wine, as you said. You can store it like for really long, and yeah, they did analysis like on a really high level, and in some weeks we should receive the outcomes of that. And yeah, this was on one day, and yeah, on the other days we also had like master classes for our sommeliers, because as you know, in Lech-Zürs we have a lot of very good wine cellars, and of course they have very good wine sommeliers. And we had some master classes, not just, also we had one champagne master class, which was like really cool with Sascha Speicher, and the STK master class, where we had all winemakers from Styria, which are in the STK region here, and they were explaining the sommeliers, their newest wines, and talking about storying and everything. So it was also very interesting. And what was like super interesting was Willi Baljanuk. He is a wine expert. He's doing analysis of wines for, I don't know, Gaumillon, Falstaff, for everyone. And he was talking about how he analyzes a wine as a wine critic. So
That's fascinating.
It was so cool. We were a group, and everyone got like, I think, 5 to 6 wines, and he was describing it as he was giving the points, because in Austria you give like up to 100 points at Falstaff. And then he was always giving the points and explaining why it's like 95 points or 92 points and how much time it still needs. And yeah, you learn so much. And yeah, it's interesting for everyone.
That sounds like a really, really fantastic event. So obviously they're planning on doing that again next year.
Willi will always come, because Willi is super fan of Arlberg Weinberg. And yeah, he's also moderating, which is also a very important event of Arlberg Weinberg, the Best Bottle Award. Mm-hmm. I think it's now the 3rd or 4th time already we did the Best Bottle Award. The idea behind it is that we define a grape, or for this year we decided for champagne, because the champagne is is no grape. And our wine sommeliers from Lech and Zürs, they will
Are they blind tasting?
No,
or?
They nominate a bottle from their wine cellar. And they say, this is my best bottle. And then we have 12 bottles. And we are doing a blind tasting on them with experts and also the sommeliers themselves. And then we decide for the best bottle. So we just give also the 90 up to 100 points. And then Willi Baljanuk is doing the moderation. And yeah, and so we decide for the best bottle. And then you get the prize. It's like always like an artist's prize with a very nice bottle. And you can place that in your hotel if you win the prize.
That sounds like such an interesting event. That's fantastic. So if people are coming here and you have this wine program, perhaps can you maybe mention or recommend some of those hotels that are participating, or, you know, if they're looking, okay, which ones are actually on the panel? Which one should I be looking out for?
So if you want like a low-based entry to Arlberg Weinberg, I always recommend the Köstliche Ring. It's like a culinary slalom. And we are going in 4 groups, in 4 hotels. It's Hotel Post, Hotel Arlberg, Hotel Krone, and Berghof. And each of the hotels has a focus of a country. And they say, yeah, for here it's Austria, and the next one it's Italy. Then you have like Australian wines, and the winemakers are always there. They do the explanation to you. You always taste 2 wines per winemaker, so it's like 4 wines per hotel, and you get tiny foods, maybe on culinary spoons, for example, which fit to the topic. And then you move on. So you have 1 hour in every hotel, and then your group moves on again. And yeah, you can decide which country you liked most or which wine you liked most. And it's like super interesting, because last year, for example, Hotel Arlberg did Switzerland. And Switzerland is like not known for wine so much. But hey, we had so interesting wines and we had so nice food and we were in their wooden restaurant and yeah, it was like super cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some serious wines in the Lavaux region and other parts of Switzerland, but you're absolutely right that it's not necessarily the first country that comes to mind when you think of winemaking. Yeah. So that's great that they focused on that. When does that event happen usually?
Arlberg Weinberg is always like in the first 2 or week 2 and 3 of December. So it's like either week 1 and 2 or week 2 and 3, depending on how the festivities fall. But yeah, always around it. We have something similar. It's always since this year. It's called Glasweise. This means translated that you get something by glass. And we had this year, it's like kind of a ski pass for wine lovers. We have 6 stations in Lech-Zürs where you can drink always 1 glass of a special wine. So you get like 1 glass of Châteauneuf-du-Pape. And you don't need to buy the whole bottle, or you get like really rare Grüner Veltliner Smaragd, like 1996. You know, it's like super rare bottles, which you get by glass. So you buy this skiing pass or wine pass,
right, and
you go with your pass, and then you get a stamp in it when you drink your glass. And we can make that for the whole 2 weeks because we have this Coravin wine system, right, where you always can remove just 1 glass out of the bottle without putting out the cork, right, of it.
The Coravin system with a needle that pierces the cork and can extract a small portion of wine at a time, and you don't spoil the wine. So with that system, you can sample very old wines or very very fine wines where you don't necessarily want to pull the cork. That's great. So, and that's during the Weinberg event. So the 2 weeks.
Yeah. During all days, you can experience that also at Hagen, where you go today. Yep. They also have the Coravin. So it's like really cool. Yeah. And you can do it all the time. So in the mountain and the huts, you have to go while there is skiing possible. But in the town, there are also some restaurants where you can go with your pass. And yeah, you can do that like all week long.
Perfect. So I want to give you the opportunity. What other events, even in summer, are you planning or are you putting on that, because Lech is great in that regard. You have things all year round, right? I mean, you have the golf course, you have cycling, you have hiking, you have all these things. What is there anything that you'd like to maybe highlight or mention from an event perspective?
Actually, we love all of our events. That's true. But yeah, in summer we have more smaller events, let's say, but we are focusing on on developing our summer as well. So we are doing 2 trail running events. The one is the Dynafit Transalpine Run, where also there are a lot of people coming from the United States to run like this 1 week run. And yeah, we are starting point at the Dynafit Transalpine Run, so it's like really special for us. We have all 900 trail runners here in our village, and yeah, it's like super much fun, and yeah, mountain lovers, and yeah.
So like a speed trail run. Where do they start, and then where do they end up?
They start here in Lech-Zürs, and then they go to St. Anton, and then they go over the mountains, and in the end they end up in Italy, and the village is called Prat.
Wow.
So they are going for 1 week, like thousands of vertical meters and hundreds of kilometers. So it's like, super fit people.
Super fit, I would say. Yeah.
And we have the pendant to Weiße Ring in winter. We have Weiße Ring in summer. A trail running event, yeah. And we go in the other direction. So we go straight up to Oberlech, and then we go over the Kriegerhorn back to Zug, up to Madloch again, Zürs, and we come down from Rüfikopf again straight into Lech. So that's our summer pendant to Weiße Ring in winter. And yeah, it's like super funny. And we have some people that just go for the trail running, not because they're a trail runner, but they want to see that in summer, how it looks, how the landscape develops. And yeah, for them, it's like super interesting.
It's a gorgeous place to hike in the summertime. And I've been hiking and been passed by trail runners, and it's mind-blowing how they're just hardly swaying. They're running up the hill.
I mean, I like hiking, but trail running is like, whoa, next level.
It is next level. That's absolutely right.
Actually, for every event, we have maximum...
a cap, right?
Yeah.
You have a cap on.
It's the same for Weiße Ring. I could do like 2,000 people going there, but we don't want it. There's always a maximum of it, and we want to focus on quality because, as you might know, or the event managers that are listening now, problems come with the amount of people. It's not like so if you're doing a kind of a festival with 100,000 people, that's not our thing.
You know, we attended a World Cup race a few years ago. It was over in Lech-Zürs, and it was absolutely so well done, but it still was it wasn't too huge, right? It was a community, people came, and you know, this is an FIS World Cup event. It's a big deal.
Compared to Kitzbühel, this is nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kitzbühel gets anywhere between, usually around 80,000, but I think before the pandemic, they hit something like 130,000 people for the Handenkam, which is a lot of people for a little village. So, but these are great. And then you have, I know, you target these specific sort of niche groups that people love. Like, I think you have a classic car event too in the summer and things like this. So
yeah, we have an old timer event, but for there it's the same. We have 100 teams maximum. We could do more because there's, for example, Silvretta Classic in Montafon. They take much more cars and much more teams, but we don't want that. And for us, it's always the quality focus also while the event. For our 100 teams, we have restaurants that can do a high level culinary experience for them. And if you compare that to other old timer rallies, you know, they're just going somewhere in like big self-service restaurants. I mean, that doesn't fit. I want like super well done food. I want to have a gala dinner. And yeah, for us, it should always match.
Of course. So the last thing I want to touch on is there is a new community center being built. And I think it'll take still some time before it's fully finished and it's fully open. But maybe if you can kind of educate me on what will this place be and what kind of events will happen there?
So the place we're building is 2 buildings. One of the buildings is for our community itself. So we will move there as well with our office.
Very nice.
Like, super good. And the other building is a kind of a mixed thing. It's called Lech-Welten. And at the bottom, there is a concert hall where we can do everything. So it's like multifunctional. And at the other floors, there are rehearsal rooms for our traditional music. And yeah, we are sharing that rooms as well. And in the concert hall, we have like many possibilities. So we can have like conferences, we can have classic concerts, we can have gala dinners, we can have cabarets, for example. So yeah, we are very happy that we get a hall like this because although we have a lot of hotels, we have not a lot of capacities because from outside you always think, yeah, the hotels are very big, but they are not compared like to other hotels in the rest of Austria. We have like super small infrastructure.
It's limited capacity here. All the hotels are so well done, and you know, I've always touted the not only the infrastructure, but just, you know, everyone every year is improving even just a little bit to modernize, and it looks rustic, but it's got these modern touches and feels to it. So, but it's not, you're not going to find a 300 room hotel here. It's the hotels have 50 rooms, maybe 20 rooms, maybe even smaller than that, and private chalets and things like that. So you have limited capacity on what you can absorb, right? So when will this new facility be available? When will it open?
We will open in summer 24. So we still have 1 year to go. We will open with a week of a festival week, let's say it like this. And we will show in this 1 week everything we can do. So we have a classic concert. We will have kind of motivational speakers, some smaller activities for the children. We will show everything what we can.
That's great.
In this 1 week. And for us, it's so much easier after that. And in the hall we're sitting now, that's the biggest room we have in whole Lech-Zürs. It's for 150 people.
Wow.
And that's where we can do our conferences. And if we want to get bigger, we have to move to our sports center, which is from the ambiente, not like so good, like in here.
Yeah, we're sitting in a very, very cute room in the Hotel Post in Lech, which has its own wonderful, rich history. I mean, a hotel that, royalty come and they stay at and whatnot. It's a very nice hotel, Relais Chateau. And so we have beautiful wood paneled walls, but you wouldn't want to put more than 100 people necessarily in this room. This is going to be a really nice venue for you guys to put on nice programs.
And it will be a meeting place, because between the two buildings, there is like a square where you can just move around freely, and you can go to the river, and you can experience like kind of a center character, which we didn't have now, but then we will have one. And in our building where our office is, we also move with our information tourist office there. And it will be kind of a village reception, we call it, because in there the community people also sit. So if you are like a local, you go there because you get your post, but you can also meet all the tourists that come and get some information. There will be a library in the floor, in the main floor, and you just meet up with everyone. So I think it will be like, the heart of Lech.
Nice community center. I can't wait for that to happen. Well, again, Andrea, thank you so much for taking the time. Cheers. And I wish you lots of success. And I wish my team success on Saturday during the Weiße Ring race. And
I'm at the start. I will cheer.
Thank you very much. No, we hope to be back every year. This has been such a special place for me, and
that's cool.
I'm happy to share it. So thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you want to ski the Weiße Ring, I'd be happy to be your guide. You can email me at info@eatdrinkfun.com. Please check out the links in the show notes and at eatdrinkfun.com/podcast/EDF. Help EDF grow and become a true fan. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review wherever you get your content. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and Facebook. Our handle is @eatdrinkfun. Thank you again to Andrea Ruckendorfer and to the Lech-Zürs Tourism team. Until next time, here's to eating well, drinking better, and always having fun.